Hey everybody. I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can. I know there's a little bit of a delay and my hair is crazy looking, and I'll tell you why. You can see that little Herschel and squirrel up above me. That's fun in shop tonight. So as soon as somebody tells me you can hear me and see me, then I will start my spiel. Nothing is ever easy here, I feel like. Typing in the chat. So I see Pat is on and Allison's on. Yay, Kelly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So thank you for joining. It's been a little bit. And I appreciate that. I worked really hard to get here, get back to the shop in time to do this. And then I couldn't get it to go live. And I'm like, are you kidding me after all this? So today, well, it's been a little bit of a busy few weeks, but yesterday we had one of our soirees, our weekend soirees. Hey Sandra, hey Melanie, hey Delia, hey Ann, hey Pat, hey Lori, hey Kelly, hey Allison, hey Yogi. So I was busy with the soiree Friday and Saturday, which was a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who attended that. It was fun. It was on Mexican samplers. And then today we went to the Renaissance Fair in Charlotte, like right around Charlotte. I'm going to try to clean the video camera again. Always forget to do that. It's still not a lot better, but I really am this pale. So, and my hair is crazy because it was sorcerers and witches weekend or something. So I had on a little witch hat all day. I know that's shocking. So the Ren Fair was really a whole lot of fun, but it's about 2.5 hours away. And we left really early this morning and we went down there, and it's great. If you've never been to one, they are fantastic. I've been to the one in Atlanta several decades ago when I lived in Atlanta. And then we've been to this one in Charlotte, which is the North Carolina Renaissance Festival. Oh, probably 4 times. At least I have. Maybe 3 or 4 times, probably 4. We don't make it every year, obviously, but my husband loves it. He loves it. It's funny. And so, yeah, we went today. And during the soiree, I'm going to answer the question because somebody's going to ask me during the soiree, you just had an earthquake. Wow. I didn't know, or we had I didn't know we had an earthquake, but or somebody had an earthquake. Anyway, I hope everybody's okay. Um, I was going to say now about the earthquake kind of unsettled me. Um, anyway, we had a really good time, and so we went down there early this morning. We were there all day, and we left. We didn't get to see the final joust because we wanted to get back in time, and so we made it back with 30 minutes to spare. And it just so happened that my son-in-law was here at the shop dropping something off, and so he was able to give Everett a ride home. So Everett didn't have to go home and come back and get me an hour and a half. So that's fun. So anyway, I'm here, and that's the story, and that's why I look a little wild. And the witch hat is in the car. So you don't get to see that, but it's a fun one. So 2.5 near Weaverville. We are on a fault zone, and the Appalachian Mountains and right through here, we are on a fault zone, and we do have earthquakes, and we do feel them. They're usually about that. They're not usually huge. There was a big one here, I'd say 10 or 11 years ago, that I felt all the way in Raleigh. And I remember that because I was in my office, and there's a funny story about it, which I won't go into. But anyway, everybody looked to me for like what to do because there were glass windows, and I am notoriously the last to move, like in an emergency. I really kind of waited out to see what's happening. And so there was a whole conference room full of people that immediately turned to look to me because I was like the highest ranking person around. And I just kind of hung tight. And I'm like, I don't see any reason to go down those stairs. And anyway, it was pretty mild. We did evacuate, but it was fine. But that was here, and we felt it 4 hours away. So we do have them sometimes. We are on a fault zone, and yeah, we don't let it upset us too much. Most of the time, we don't even know they've happened, because you can only feel it if you're really, like, inside doing nothing. And most of the time people are out and about doing stuff, especially this time of year. So it's pretty rare that we even feel them. I felt one at home not too long ago. Um, yeah, we definitely felt that one because we were inside and we weren't doing anything. Most of the time, we're really super busy and we just never feel them. So anyway, thank you for worrying about us. We're all fine. There's a bunch of kids outside screaming and playing putt putt, clueless. So it must not have been bad. That's all I can say. Um, anyway, the last time I talked to you, I yammered on and on and on about Scotland. I didn't show you a thing. And so I've really struggled to find a good 2 hours to put together a slide presentation, but I did get a bunch of cool pictures sent over, from phone to computer because, not all my devices talk, um, of the classes and, a couple of the textiles, just a taster. And so I thought that tonight we would catch up on some things and talk about some things. I'll answer your questions about some things, and I'll show you the class projects and a teaser. And so, there's I saw some really just amazing things. I we saw some textiles from some of the castles, but then we also went to a museum, which I think I mentioned that before, that was really amazing. And then we went to the archives of that museum, which was incredible. And so I won't get through all that tonight because we've only got an hour. And I want to go through a few things, but I really want to show you the class pieces, and they're very exciting, and share a few things with you. So, hey, Cheryl, welcome, welcome. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Kathy and Michelle. So, all righty. So, thank you to everybody who attended the soiree. Thank you guys for jumping on here and for waiting for me to figure out how to get on here and for putting up with my wild and crazy witch hat hair. It's all good. There were lots and lots of people dressed up at the Ren Fest. It's really very, very cool. And every year, ever at night, well, every year that we go, we're like, we should dress up for that. We should put some costumes together because we have bits and pieces of things. And then we don't. And then we're like flying by the seat of our pants to get there. But I think we will for next year. I think we're going to work on that. I don't know what, I have so many different things that I would like to dress up as. I might have to do something different every year for a while, but it should be fun. So I didn't get I've done a lot of presentations in my career, many, many presentations. And this is not a good one because I didn't put it together. I just barely got my pictures over here. And so it's going to be a little, I don't know the word for it. There's a funny little English word I like to use, but I can't think of it right now. Hobbledygook or something like that. Cattywampus is another good word. That's an American word. For me flipping back and forth, but hang with me. So I'm gonna show you some pictures, and I'm hoping that actually I don't even know how to do that on YouTube now that I'm thinking about it. How to share a screen. Let me see if I can figure this out. Yeah, here we go. Good, they made it easy. They gave me a button. That's good. Okay, let me go to the window. Well, wonder. All right. Here's the first one that I want to share with you. Okay. So I hope you can see this. This is the first class that I took. And if you saw one of the little either Facebook or Instagram posts I made to unicorns. And so this unicorn came from, it was inspired by a mirror that was held in the Feller collection. And then the Feller collection, Michael and I can't think of his wife's name. I was fortunate enough to go to their home on 2 occasions, maybe 3. I know for sure 2 in Oxford in the UK. and see their incredible collection before they divested of a lot of it because they wanted to kind of retire, and they allowed the Ashmolean to choose up to a third of the full collection, and a third of it was donated to the Ashmolean. And then they auctioned off a number of things several years ago, and there are a couple of great books that show everything. Well, there was this beautiful mirror in there, and on each corner of the mirror was a different animal. And on one corner was a unicorn, one corner was a stag, one corner was a leopard, and one corner was a lion. And in the middle, I think there was something else, like up on the top part in the middle. And so Kate Barlow is an RSN trained tutor, and this retreat that I went to was put on by the Crewel Work Company, and she also does workshops for the Crewel Work Company, the RSN, and some other things. And so this was a Crewel Work Company retreat, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later, but I want to show you these pictures. So I'm going to have to pop back and forth because I don't think I can go between screens. So I wanted to show you, this was me opening the box. Stop sharing that and come back to this one. And let me get back over here to my YouTube. And okay, let's see. Blank screen, black screen. Oh, that's a bummer. Let me try again. I couldn't see your comments while I was doing that. Let's try. How about if I do the entire screen? Maybe that will work. Also share system audio. I don't know what that means, but we're going to try it. We're going to try to share the entire screen. And hopefully you won't see any. Oh, that's crazy. Let's don't do that. Let's try again. One day I'll understand all this. Okay. Let me go back. I'm going to skip the box thing, and I'm just going to show you the model of the unicorn. It's the best part. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to look at YouTube on my phone so I can see your comments really quick. Let's has a little look-see here. And let me see. It's probably not going to show that to me. I'm going to pop back over and just see if you can see it. I know that's crazy. Let me come back and see if you can see it. See what you're telling me now. Okay, so nope, you left again. Okay. Pat says yes. Okay, good. Can you see a unicorn? A picture? Yay, Cheryl. Okay. And I'm there. You can see the full screen. Excellent. So you can see the unicorn and you can see me. Excellent. Focus on the unicorn. Great. Okay. We conquered the technology for the second that we're looking at. We're 13 minutes in and we got one picture up. I told you I won't be able to get them all tonight. Okay, great. All right. So this beautiful unicorn, well, you heard me go through the spiel. I think you could hear me talk about the mirror. And so this was inspired by the mirror. So there's actually been a separate project with the mirror that I did not take. That was a different class, and it was all silk shading. And so this was an adaptation of that. So on the mirror, it was all silk shading. Silk shading meaning that it was flat silk stitches, no 3D parts of it, just beautiful long and short stitch with silks. Long and short is long and longer stitches, but it's just satin stitches basically with silk to fill in the pictures. And so this is the unicorn. This was the first class that I took. And it's interesting because I want to show you how it was constructed. This is Kate's model. And I don't know if I can make this bigger. I'm almost afraid to try. I probably cannot do that. but you can see it here. So I'm gonna go grab a couple other pictures and show you how that got built up. And I am not done with it, and I've not worked on it since I came back home. Um, but let me get over here to my folder. Alrighty, let me try this. This guy up. Okay. And come back to the YouTube. Okay. Let me stop during that one and pick up this one. Come back here. Sorry, this is painful, but tis this one. And there we go. I should be back. You should see me and some padding. And so you can sort of see now that I'm putting the body of the unicorn together. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Sabine. Allison. Hey, Cheryl. So you can see the way that we did, and this is a type of metalwork. So it's silk shading and metalwork. Kind of gold work, but it's not always gold threads. I like to call it gold work. It's surface embroidery. And so you take a piece of of wool, and it's cut into the shape of the body, and then there's a piece cut into the shape of the head, and there might even be a piece underneath there already. This might be the second piece. I think that there was another piece that was just like right here. If you can, I don't know which pointer you can see. There's two on the screen, but in his forebody, I think there was a second piece of shading up there. Maybe not. I feel like there were three. Okay, so I'm going to jump around again, and come back to my file. And open up this guy. This one. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, let's see. Let me come back. We're figuring this out. Okay. Okay. Now you see the unicorn now. So that was actually those first two pieces were the first layers of padding. I just couldn't remember. And then I cut out his whole body, or her whole body, and put it on here, including that tail, that really beautiful tail. And so this is there's so much prep work, because the first thing we did was take the canvas that this was printed on, and we tacked it to something else, and then pulled it really tight in the hoop. And you can see that we just kind of tore the tissue apart. We used the tissue that was packed with the kit to protect the sides of this while we stitched it. And you can see in my needle there is some silk. You can't tell that's what it is, but that's what it is. And the next picture I'm going to show you is actually me stitching. I may use that silk to stitch his hooves, because it looks like I might have two of the hooves done. I can't tell if that's padding or if that's stitching from here. But I did also stitch the horn, and the horn's really beautiful, and I do want to show you that. So let me go get that picture. Okay, I think that's the last one here. No, but this one's more close up, so we'll look at this, because this is something interesting too. Okay. do better with this next week, promise. Okay. Okay. You should see me back now. And so now you can sort of see I've got this like long thread coming down from his belly. And if you look closely, you might not be able to see it, but his left back leg has that same thread that outlined it. And I went from his kind of his hind quarter down to his hoof and then back up. And then I bent that thread over and I'm coming back down. That's gimp. That is silk wrapped gimp. And it's his body color. And so his whole body's going to be covered in that. But that's just the beginning of that. And whilst I was there, I only got the one leg done. I was in this class 3 days. So we did all the prep work and the padding. I did his leg, and then I'll show you a little bit more. And if you guys are getting tired of this, you tell me, we'll go on to something else. But oops. No, we don't want to do that. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Let's go to another file. Yep, that's that. Okay. Let me see if I can open all these and then I can maybe go between them. Nope. Open, says me. Open one more while I'm there. Okay. Alrighty, we're fixing to finish up with our unicorn chatty chat. Share the screen. I'm going to pick the ones I want. I think. Let me see what else is going here. Okay. Okay. So I apologize to the people who are watching this video because I might not like it. Okay. Now you can sort of see a couple things in this picture. And I'm not showing you this to brag on it because this is like not impressive work in terms of like skill set because I'm not an expert at it, but it was something I really enjoyed. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of it, and then I'll move through the rest of the stuff really fast. I wanted to show you how it was built up, which I thought was so cool. And so you see here I'm working on, I forget what I named this unicorn, but for tonight I'm going to call him Jeff. And I don't know, Jeff with a G. And I'm working on Jeff's horn. And so I've done some satin stitches with silk in sections to create that horn. And I did them, and they were just satin stitches. And I left a little separation. You can see at the top of the horn, I've left separations between the sections. And you can see the very tippy top is basically just 2 tiny little stitches. And you saw that this whole picture fit into the size of like maybe like a 5x8 or a 6x8 box. So this is small, super small. And I am proud of the tippy top of the horn, which I will show you. But before I leave this, I wanted to show you the flower up above his head. That is a stitch done. It's some silk shading on the little green leaves, or satin stitches on the little green leaves. And then there's some silk work in different colors on the rose over some metallic thread. And this is called a burden stitch, Burden. and I don't love it. It was my least favorite part of this stuff so far because I didn't feel like it looked very neat and tidy, and I was kinda struggling with it. So I have not finished that. I left it there, but I wanna show you the next picture for the little horn, and then we will move on to something more exciting. More exciting. Find it. Yes, this one. Okay. Share. No, I think it was this one. I think. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, shoot. You can't see it big enough. Hmm. Wonder how to make that bigger without taking us down a rabbit hole. Hmm. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. Now, ta-da! So, was my biggest accomplishment, I think, of the class because, so we're using like number 8 and 10 needles for most of this stuff. If we were actually stitching with a metallic thread, it was a bigger needle. But most of the time, we just lay those over top and couch over them. And the silk work is done with a number 10, usually sometimes a number 8. So this was the part that I was super proud of. So we had all those white sections of silk stitching, and then I took a metallic thread, and it is a DMC Diamante, is what we used for this silver. I think it was a DMC Diamante. Um, I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure it is. I'd have to check my kit. I'll correct myself if it's not. But we did just these little S stitches where we kind of came up and then down and then back up and then back under the, you can see where it's just an S around each of those, around between 2 sections that went up through there. And then when I got to the very, very top, that is so, so tiny. I had on 2 pair of peeps, and I still struggled to see that, but I got that last little S on the very tippy top to go over that one section. It's actually going over those 2 long stitches, and they were not segmented, but to make it look right, I went over those 2 and went back down. And that combination of leaving that space with the satin stitches and then taking those long S's through with the metallic thread, which was couched down. You can almost see some of my stitches couching it down. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but if you can, there's a couching stitch right there. Um, and you can sort of see it right here. It's puckered a little bit, and that's okay. You could never see that with the naked eye without, this is magnified by 60% on the screen or something. Um, so anyway, I was able to get that last little loop there, and it just made my day. I love it. That and the fact that I didn't accidentally cut off his tail when I was trying to cut that out because that was hard. But on this screen too, you can also see a little bit more of that burden stitch. It's closer up. You might be able to see why I didn't like it. Of course, when I'm stitching it, I'm looking at it under a lot of magnification, but you lay those long stitches and then you're going over a long stitch over a metallic thread and making it look like you're weaving in and out of them, but you're not. You're just going over one and then ending the stitch and coming up beside it and going over another one. And I just didn't like it because it doesn't look perfect to me. But you know, I'm new. Um, if you might be able to see all the little tacking stitches, tacking the 2 pieces of fabric together. Sorry, I got notifications coming up on my screen. These tiny, tiny little spots are my little tiny tacking stitches where I tacked 2 pieces of fabric together, the one on top and the one on the back that gave it extra support. Um, and then this leaf is silk stitches. I'm not good at long and short and silk shading. Um, so don't judge me harshly. I feel like my edges are pretty good because this is magnified again by like, I don't know, 60 or 80%. The edges are pretty good, but I've got practice to do to get my silk shading. And it was supposed to be these different colors. And I'll have to have some stem work that goes in here, but it was supposed to be these, different colors to where it doesn't really blend. You've just got some, different color stitches in there. So anyway, that's the unicorn. We're gonna move on to something else. I hope you enjoyed seeing that fellow there. Oh gosh, I keep hitting the wrong button. Let's stop that sharing. Maybe I can just move from picture to picture. Let me see what happens. Let's just see. Nope. Okay. Get rid of that picture and pick up the next one. Okay, I want to show you this fella. Share the screen. Go to the window. Okay. Now you should see, you might not know what it is, but it's a very brightly colored jacket. Well, this is an amazing textile artifact, and I'll show you a bigger picture of it. But I wanted to show you this in particular because this is what inspired the second class that I took. So this is the jacket. It's a tartan plaid, and it is the tartan of, I think, the Campbell. I might be saying it might be the McDonough. I want to say the McDonough. Debbie will correct me. I did it wrong last week too. The McDonough clan. And they were the clan that held the territory where we stayed for the class. And the castle there has a huge collection of textiles. And this jacket in particular is very important because it is a piece of one of only, I think the only in existence, if not the only, there was one other one, full set of tartan clothing from the mid 1800s. And so the jacket, a waistcoat, a pair of long trousers that actually included the feet in it. It's kind of, I forget what they call them, trews, I think. A long kilt, and there might have been one other piece, are all in this collection that were owned by the chief of the clan at that time. And he wore this when King George came to visit Scotland, which was the first time in something like 200 years that an English monarch had came to Scotland. And previous to that, tartan in the Highlands had been outlawed. And so people weren't allowed to wear tartan for a long time. They were trying to, push back the clan and the Highland culture and integrate folks more with England and the English monarchy. Once James I, the son of Mary Queen of Scots, famous embroideress, became King of England, he was King of Scotland, James VI, and in England, he was King James I because he was the first King James in England. So King James I and the Sixth. Between him and George, I don't think any of the monarchs had went to Scotland, but there had been a resurgence in romanticism, in literature and art, and the Highland culture had came back into vogue, and that included the wearing of the tartan. And so they had started to allow the Highlanders to again wear their colors and their tartans. And everybody, when King George came over to visit, he insisted that people wear their tartans. And even in England, they had hosted Highlander parties and people were in tartan in England. And so everybody brought out their full tartan gear and had things revamped and made beautiful again. There wasn't a lot of time between the time he said he was going to go over and when he went over to get new things made. But people would kind of, redecorate and remake beautiful their other clothing. And so this was what the clan chief of this particular clan wore. So on the collar is velvet, and you see a thistle design. Um, and it's tarnished because it was done with most likely gold thread. It could be silver, but most of the folks who have looked at it believe that it was originally gold, and it does look like it was gold. Um, gold threads only have about nowadays about 2% gold in them, but they still tarnish. And so this is tarnished over time. But in when it was worn and when it was made, it had to be absolutely stunning, because not only is this thistle design, and you can see 3 thistle heads there and their leaves coming off, not only is this on the collar, but it was on the sleeves as well. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and I can see your chat. So if you've got questions, please do ask me. And I'm going to jump over and show you some other pictures now. And I'm sorry it's painful to watch. But I'm going to count it, man. That's what the guy on Star Trek, the doctor, always says. Jim, I'm a doctor, not a blah, 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 blah. So, but I am better at presentations than I'm showing you tonight, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. Okay, let me come back over here. I think that I opened up all my good stuff from this one. Nope, we want to look at this. Okay. So, window, this. Okay, so now you see this is the curator of the collection. This is the room in the castle where we stayed. We actually stayed in a castle near the village of Tarbert, which is a fishing village. Hey, Sandy, no worries. It's recorded, so you'll get to watch it later. And this is the curator of the collection there, and she brought the collection to us in our classroom, which was amazing, and never, ever had any of these artifacts left the castle before. So it's the Dunolly Castle was the name of the castle, Dunolly. And this is the jacket that we were just looking at. And you can see the size of it, and you can see the beautiful color on it. And sitting behind her, looking down at the brochure, whatever she's looking at, is Philippa Turnbull, who created the Quirl Work Company. And if you are a member of EGA, you can go watch the EGA at Large interview that they did with Philippa 2 weeks ago, I think. She did a really wonderful presentation about how she did what she's done and where she came from. And it was just very inspiring, because she's just a normal person who went through some life changes and reinvented herself and started to do something that she loved, and it was amazing. And she was a little bit lucky, and all good things do often happen with a little bit of good luck. So, okay, let me go back and get you some more pictures. I'm going back. We shall come back. I think I've got one more good one of the jacket. I think I showed you that one. Let me get something else going here. Let's see what else I've got. Okay, that was 2. Look at this one. Okay. Okay. So this is a jacket kind of laying on the table, and there are 2 things for you to notice here. The collar that we looked at before, and the thistles on the sleeves. Those are also gold work and also tarnished. But look at the vibrancy of that tartan. And that is from it's either 1830s or 1850s. I think it was the 1850s. But I mean, holy cow, right? I mean, that tartan really, really held its color. And that was true of all of the ancient tartan textiles that we saw. they all had really held their color. And one of the things that the curator of that collection did with us is a dyeing exercise. And if I can put together a real slideshow for next week, I'll show you some of those pictures because I took some great pictures and videos. But she is not a chemist and not a professional in the field of, natural dyeing, but she had been so impressed with how the tartans held their color that she wanted to figure out how they did it. And so she started playing around with some of the natural resources and created different dyes. And so she actually made some of them for us there in that same room when this stuff was back at the castle. And we got to dye some yarn, and the vibrancy was shocking of what you could come up with from, you know, lichen off of dead trees was one of the things that we used. Another one was a ground up root. And, and then we added some bicarbonate soda to one of the dyes from the ground up root, and it turned it this brilliant blue. So it was just an exercise to understand that just because dyes are natural doesn't mean that they're less than. And I think that we in a modern culture have a perspective that all things new are better, and that's not true. So synthetic dyes have a lot of positive qualities, but these natural dyes that were used to dye this fabric, 200 years ago, 250 years ago in some cases, and even older with some of the things that we saw, was excellent. So, it is just beautiful, beautiful fabric. So this was just one piece of that full suit. And I did not go to the castle, so I did not get to take a picture of the whole suit. So I don't have the whole suit, but I did see a picture of it, and I might have it in one of my books, and I'll try to share that. So this was what inspired the thistle. Now I want to show you the thistle. It is beautiful. Tartan is beautiful that was made from. And I'm not usually like a big person for really bright things, but I really, really liked that. And I liked it the more time I spent around that, the more I liked it. Okay, so now let me do this. I'm going to enlarge this first so you actually can see it more better, although it's pretty good size. Might distort it a little bit to make it this big, but that's okay. To share that. Okay. Okay. So this is the model of the second workshop that I did, the thistle. And you can see that it's very similar. It's not exactly like what was on the jacket because of size, mostly. And, it needed to be, it's a separate project. So it's inspired by it. It's not exactly like it, but it does have the same style leaves and the thistle heads and everything, same stuff. And it's very most likely done with very similar materials. So the materials that we use today to do some of this work, are replicas of what they had in the past, but the craft has been handed down through generations of craftspeople, and they're made very similarly. And so those thistle heads look like sequins. They're not sequins, they're spangles. And the difference is that they're made out of metal and they're stamped, or they're like they're kind of stamped, I think, and they all have a little tiny join where the circle comes together. There's a little piece there where they've joined, and then there's a hole in the middle like a sequin, but they are metal. And if you touch them, they will hold your fingerprints. So this one's not mine. This one's Zena's. And because I'm taking so long to go through these pictures, I might not show you mine tonight. I might show you one picture of it. But let me look at your questions. Yes, it was woad, Sandy. You're exactly right. I just couldn't remember the word. It was woad. And she told us that woad is also available in North America. So we may have some of it here too that we could dye with. And the woad is what we put the bicarbonate soda in, and it turned it this brilliant oceany blue green color. Was it wool or cotton? The tartan is made from wool. So it was made from wool. Yeah, no, you're good. I hadn't said yet, Kathy. Yeah, Sandy, you're right. Wool. So this was Zena Casman did this class, and she's a tutor that I like to take classes from since I met her last year at Kentucky. So let me go to pictures because there's a picture of that thistle on a modern tartan, and you will just be shocked at how similar it looks to the jacket. And I'm going to skip showing you the buildup of how I made the thistle. I went through the unicorn in pretty good detail. A lot of similar things. We can do that another time if you're really interested in it. Let me get over here. I just pulled up a picture, Debbie. Might save that for next time too. My friend Debbie from here went with me, and that was fun. I do want to show you that, so I'm going to leave that open. I am going to show you a little teaser of two things from the museum, and then I'll put together a better pitch for next time. Oh my goodness. It's been a different. That's what this is. I want to show you that one too. All right. Look back. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Oh, wow. What did I do with my pictures? There's two Scotland 2s. That might be part of my problem. Let's see if they're in here. Nope. I had a really hard time moving these pictures around. I'm sorry. They're just so big. Alrighty, well, we're going to look at what we've got. And at some point, I will show you, if I don't find it on here, a picture of the thistle on the tartan because it's quite lovely. Quite lovely. Okay. I'm going to show you some textiles. So I'll come back to the thistle thing. And the only difference I wanted to show you was the tartan, the current tartan, but I can't get that picture to come up. So we'll revisit that. But I want to show you this beautiful piece from the Burrell Museum. And so let me share that part of the screen with you here. go back to that and enlarge it, actually. Let me find that and enlarge it. Because I want you to see that a little bit bigger. Okay. Okay, so you saw it there for a second in its normal size, and now I've made it bigger. This is just a stunning, stunning jacket. And this is in a museum in Glasgow. I think it was called the Burrell Museum. That I'll double check that for you. Oh, Elizabeth is sorry, Elizabeth. Show you this another time. Um, this jacket's just stunning, and we were all gathered around this taking pictures front and back. It is so beautiful. So if you've seen like the Katie Strachan did a sweet bag, where she did some scrolls. These are called Elizabethan scrolls usually. And I was in that class with Katie, and I haven't worked on mine yet, but you see this pattern repeated on a lot of things from this time period. And this is such a stunning jacket. It's in pristine condition. It even had a little bonnet with it too. I'll show you a better picture another time. But I wanted to give you a little teaser of this. So you see that Tudor rose, you see the leaves, you see the gold scrolls. That is an Elizabethan braid stitch through there. You see the little flowers that are hanging down on it. The little strappy thing is, I think that's a caterpillar. I might be wrong, but I think that's a bug, a caterpillar. But this is just a stunning piece of needlework. Just absolutely amazing. And you see the little clasp on it, holding it together. And this was a smallish framed person that this was made for, but normal size, not teeny tiny like you would think of from that time period. A normal sized person, but definitely smallish, and it's just so beautiful. So I wanted you to see that one, and I'll show you more of that and more pictures of it because I took a bunch, but I want to show you another piece of needlework that I jumped off from the crowd and went and looked at. And I don't think a lot of my my mates from the trip actually saw, because we had a guided tour, and the tour guide did not come over to look at this, but I jumped away on my own because I do that, and went and looked at it and took some pictures, and I shared it with the group. So let me show you this. Okay. I can't tell you a lot about this right now, but I will. This is the teaser. Next week, I'll tell you more. If you're interested in this stuff, I'll show you more things. And this is not even the archives. This was just in the museum. But look at this. This is absolutely stunning because this is surface embroidery. So this is stump work. Some of it's stump work. You've got it stitched on and attached. Now my battery's going to die. Well, that's okay because it's 9 o'clock. Stitched on and attached. Oh, and just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous needlework. So I took a lot of pictures of this and so many other things that are just this beautiful. And I've seen work like this on caskets, this shepherd person. I've seen it on mirrors. Here's another person right here. And I hate that the group didn't jump over to see this, but this was stunning. And so I did share it with them. What year was the jacket made? So I'll tell you next week. The one that I just showed you the picture of. It's Elizabethan. So I'm going to say probably 1600s. Maybe. Yeah, I'll tell you for sure next week. So I am going to leave you with that, and I'm going to answer a few questions if anybody has questions, and talk about a few other things. And I will put together a proper pitch. I've got all day tomorrow to do it, and I will put together a proper pitch, and we will reconvene next Sunday night, and I will be better at the whole. Let me show you my special things on YouTube live things. So, um, just a little taste. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want, you can leave me in the comments. Do you want to see more about, the buildup of the thistle, the classes, or do you want to see the textiles? Do you want to see the trip, the Scotland trip, and all the beautiful things? Or do you just want me to talk about something else next week? So I did promise the group from the soiree that if I did not, I do have a laying tool video that they needed to see, that if they wanted to, that I would demo it next Sunday. So I can also do the demo for that, and I owe you a demo on finishing. So just leave me some comments. Tell me what you want to see next week, and I'll get it put together for you. But I wanted to let you know, this coming weekend here in the shop, we have Romy of Romy's Creations and Simona of Manny Di Donna. And they're going to be, if you're local or if you're anywhere nearby that you can come in for it, you may not be able to make class. If you want to, let me know, because we do have a few spots that we could put you in there. It's Friday and Saturday this coming weekend, but they're going to do a meet and greet on Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon from 3 to 6. Normally the shop, we have stitch night on Thursday night, and we will have stitch night. They may not stay for the whole thing, but if you want to come and meet Romy and Simona and you're local, then please come in on Thursday, sometime between 3 and 6, and meet Romy and Simona. We're super excited to have them come and teach us. It's a Halloween class. We will have some extra kits. So if you can't come to class and you see those pictures and you want the kits, you can't live without it, let me know. We will have some extra kits. I did put out kits for a workshop from the COVID period era that we had to cancel with the primitive hair. I didn't check today, but as of yesterday, there were a few kits left. So if you're interested in that, that's out there. I did get the new things from Julia Pontici, or Julia Monfredini, Julia Punti Antici, GPA, the Halloween drum and the beautiful Halloween doll. We did get those things in, and they're not on the website yet, but they will go on the website. And we have plenty of those dolls. I dragged my feet a little bit posting it out there because we have the wooden doll, we have the little cage that came with her, and the lace shawl, and the pins, because she's a pin keep and a thread keep. What we didn't have was the linen and the threads to stitch the design, and the velvet to make the pin keep. And so I'm trying to figure out in my head how I want to make that available for sale so that you can go ahead and get the doll, but you can get the other stuff later. So by the end of the day tomorrow, that'll be on the website and you'll have that. We've been doing some fun sales. We are doing this thing where it's every Friday between last Friday, the one before this one that just went by, and Black Friday. We are featuring 2 designers on sale for about a 24-hour period. Now, in all honesty, I forgot to go out and close down the one from Friday. I just realized that. So if you did not pick up the one from this past Friday, which was Blue Flower and Fox and Rabbit, you still can. So hurry, but I won't turn that off till tomorrow. They should be 24-hour sales, but I'm dragging my feet on closing them down. So we're putting 2 designers together, 5 of their charts for $35, which is a pretty good deal because some of those charts are $16 charts. And there's 5 in there. And we're grouping 2 designers. So each one will have at least 2, and then one of them will have 3. And we're putting in there a brand new custom needle minder. And the 2 so far have been new alley cats and unicorns. Because I just like it. I like the pairing of the alley cat and unicorn. So it's been reminiscent of my cat Seamus, who I lost a couple years ago. Seamus and Quinn were brothers, if you remember back then. Anyway, it's a gray tabby and it's super cute. So the past 2 weeks I've had 2 different needle minders, and we'll continue that till we finish up. On Black Friday will be a special sale that will maybe revisit some of these and has something else that's really amazing that we've never done. So we're putting some stuff on sale that we've never put on sale, like Teresa Kogut's never been on sale. Um, I don't know about Blue Flower. I don't think so. I can tell you coming up, Brenda Gervais is going to be in there. You know, there's stuff that we never put on sale. And the reason that I'm doing it is because we have an ungodly number of charts. We have so much inventory. And as we say down south, I'm fixing to get ready to have to count it all. And I'm a little bit panicked. And so I do not want to have to count, nor do I want my friends to have to come and help me count this much inventory. So I'm going to share the wealth a little bit, and that'll set us up nice to go back to market next year and buy some more fun new stuff. So be on the lookout for these Friday sales, which I will try to release the info on Thursday night, put them on sale. They'll be up through Friday. They're supposed to come down on Saturday, but you'll never get that done. So they'll be out there through the day on Saturday, and I'll probably take them down on Sunday mornings going forward. And then Black Friday is going to be a really amazing sale on something that we've never put on sale. Never in our 11 years have we ever put it on sale, and I don't know that we ever will again. But we're going to this Black Friday. So buckle up. That's a few weeks away. So you got some time. I'm not going to tell you what it is. If you're in the soiree, I told you. So if you know somebody in the soiree, you can ask them, but don't post it here. Let's see what else. I don't know. There's just lots of fun stuff coming up. So I'm going to leave it there with you because I think my computer's going to die. And I hope you had fun with this. I'm sorry it was such a mess, but I will share more beautiful things with you next week, next Sunday night, Stitch and Chat. So if you want to request something specific for Stitch and Chat, let me know. But if not, I'm going to have a really good pitch for you next week, and I'm going to take you through the really amazing stuff that was in the archives. And these couple things that I showed you here, I'll show you more better pictures. A good time to make a phone call about an order. You have some questions, but don't want to ask here. Sandy, yeah. If you send me an email with your phone number, I can call you tomorrow or Tuesday. Definitely I'll be in here on Tuesday. I don't know if the shop phone will ring through since we're normally closed on Tuesday, but you can certainly try to call on Tuesday anytime because I'll be here, but I'll be looking for your call. And if you call me, I'll call you back and we'll figure out what you need. So, yay. I hope that was kind of fun for you. I enjoyed it, and I'm really excited about showing you the rest of it. I'm just excited about sharing different types of needlework with you. I think it's really beautiful and amazing and I also want to share with you how to do some of it because it's manageable. And if you want to step out of your comfort zone a little bit, you can, and we're going to make it more manageable for you. And that's something we'll talk more about. So good things are coming. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and a great start to your week. And I will be looking for that Sandy 703 area code. And I will talk to you guys all soon. Thank you for joining in. Alrighty. Bye, everybody. I got to figure out how to shut all this down now. Yay. Yeah, I was going to show you a picture of Debbie, but I'll do that next time. Debbie and some of my Australian friends I made, it was a fun time. So when you get time to go spend time with your stitchy friends, either in person or live on Zoom or on YouTube Live, take advantage of it. Makes your life a lot richer. I don't get to run away very often. That's the first time I've been away like that since before COVID. But it inspired me. And I think that's what it's all about. Keeping your mind agile, keeping your hands working, keeping you young at heart and young in your head, and filling your world with like-minded people that enjoy the same things you enjoy. So I'll leave you with that. See you next week if not before. Bye.